Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, and I do apologize for my appearance, but in my defense, I did just get off work and I was rode hard and put up wet, folks. All right? Yeah. If I look like the Crypt Keeper, you're just going to have to deal, all right? All right, folks, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by Autistics for Autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit. They did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused. You know the drill. Please read the article. Share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC actually does ever see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. Allergies. Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously parental supervision is advised, all right? Okay, so where we left off the other day, let's try to make it short and sweet. I'm brain dead right now. Because of the likely underreporting of AEs in the literature, the FDA considered the risks identified to. Oh, no, we read that yesterday. Going back to here. Sorry, folks. There's no edit button. It's amateur hour deal. With regard to underreporting AEs pertaining to other treatments, the comment specifically refers only to pharmacotherapy. However, the studies conducted for the approval of the drugs provide a better baseline to understand their risks than that available for ESDs, and the studies supplement our understanding from spontaneous post-market reports of AEs. In other words, when you try to compare the pharmacology, the difference is they are held to a far higher standard than what you hold in regards for your clinical studies, JRC, okay? Essentially, what that means is before a drug is allowed on the market, it goes through absolutely insane, rigorous testing first before it's let out on the market. The GED device went under no such testing and scrutiny. I like the subtle shade, I really do, because they like to compare pharmacology. All right, right? It's Satan, big pharma. All right, everything's Satan. I live in freaking water boy world. Send help. You get where I'm going with that, right? Pharmacology, you want to put a drug on the market, it's not as simple as just slipping dollars in a few hands like the JRC. It actually requires rigorous testing. And if you are bribing, you're bribing a lot of people. Whereas the GED device has never been held up to the fire, so to speak. It has not undergone the same level of rigorous testing as pharmacology does. Not to mention, the JRC has toted the same line about pharmacology for over the last 40 goddamn years. They seem to not be able to wrap their brains around the fact that pharmacology and pharmaceuticals have advanced light years since Dr. Israel first opened this school, and it's like they continue to refuse to acknowledge that. The fact of the matter with meds, it is not one size fits all. So there is going to be some time when you may have to try more than one pill until you find the one that's going to work for you. How you best find that pill is you got to be open and honest with your doctor. You can't just allow them to write you off a script and say nothing if it's not helping you, but that's a completely different subject. Doctors aren't mind readers. Just saying this all. As a result, the possibility that the pharmacotherapy poses risks additional to those that have been reported is much less of a concern in the FDA's consideration of state-of-the-art treatment for SIB or AB, and is the likelihood of underreporting AEs associated with ESDs in the FDA's consideration of the ESD risks. Can I say this with less words? Essentially, what they're saying here, when Scary Big Pharma puts a pill on the market, it is federally mandated and federal law that the risks of those pills be documented and that the patient in concern is informed of what those risks are. If you do not do that, you're going to end up in a whole hell of a lot of trouble. However, again, with the GED device, the big difference here, no board, no testing, no rigorous testing in clinical studies, like not even near close to the level of pharmacology. And the fact when you sit there and bang on the gong against Big Pharma all day, but they're the ones sitting there listing out the risks to taking their medications while you are sitting there trying to tell everyone that shocking someone at 85 MPa is pie in the sky. Yeah. For example, to obtain drug approval for pharmacotherapies used in relation to SIB or AB or the underlying conditions, the sponsors conducted phase 1 clinical trials that included neurotypical individuals to assess the safety profiles of the drugs, meaning the subjects of the study were generally better able to communicate AEs than the individuals on whom ESDs for SIB or AB have been used. Now, I'm not as up to snuff these days in regards to medication, in regards to treating different neurodivergent disabilities, in particular autism, if they're dealing with the problem behavior. But back in my day, there was nothing. You had Adderall. That's what you got. You had Adderall, and it did very strangely help, although it had the polar opposite effect that it seems to have on people with ADHD. It calmed my bitch ass stuff down, which I really needed during that time period because I was looking for fights, and I didn't care who. Yeah, it was a good thing, even though it's not specifically designed to deal with people of my diagnosis. It did help, but it also provided me extreme anxiety and just extreme paranoia and constant irritation and agitation. And it made my sensory issues 100 times worse. But, anyways. In phase 1 and phase 2 trials, AEs were also systematically monitored in intended use population. Thus, in the case of pharmacotherapy used for SIB or AB, the safety of the drugs has been studied in formal trials that provide a much better understanding of their risks than the much more limited data that exists for the ESDs. So what we're saying here in a nutshell is essentially you can sit there and bang your gong against big pharma all you want to, but at the end of the day, before a pill goes on the market, it goes under rigorous testing. During that testing phase, if it becomes apparent that there are risks, it is federally mandated for those risks to be documented and patients be made well aware of what was going on before it was prescribed to said individual. The GED device has gone under absolutely zero non objective testing. The JRC's clinical study does not count, in my opinion, for a multitude of reasons. The biggest one being it's a conflict of interest. It is in the JRC's best interest to hold on to this device. Therefore, it is them with their legs being held to the fire. They they should be able to provide data from themselves, but they should be able to do it from objective resources. And if they can't find any, then they should probably think like really long and hard about that, shouldn't they? Yeah. You can't sit there and tell the world that big pharma bad when as a matter of fact they do their due diligence, including reporting risks, where the JRC does not and continues to scream that there isn't any in spite of all the evidence under God that shows very clearly otherwise. We're going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. If you could, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. I am going to have to go hit the elliptical again because I have to torture myself. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you in a few minutes.